Hey friend, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Deborah from Barefoot Bites, where we discuss everything from homemaking to motherhood and creating yummy food from scratch. Come spend time with me today while we make dinner and chat about cooking from scratch when you're in a pinch. So grab a drink and let's get to it. As a new full-time homemaker and a mom of 3 young ones, trust me, I know just how life can be so unpredictable and super busy. But honestly, it really doesn't have to mean that we always have to reach for that takeout or prepackaged meals. And honestly, no shame if you have to do that some nights. Literally, I do too, girl. But let's not make that our habit, okay? Let's just start cooking from scratch, and even when you're in a pinch, it really can be quick, easy, and really satisfying. And one of the missions I have on here is to really inspire you and to share my love of cooking from scratch, because it really can be that easy. I think sometimes we can build it up in our heads and think it's super hard and it's going to take too much time, but it's not that time consuming if we just have some things in place. So it's about to be 5 o'clock, and if you're a mom, then you know that slight panic you get when you realize it's literally about almost dinner time and you have no idea what to make. And I'm one of those girlies who really cannot follow a meal plan to save my own life. So one of the ways I literally save myself the headache is by always having a bunch of meat in the fridge that's defrosted. And even if I don't have a plan, I know if I have meat, I can build my whole meal around the meat that I have defrosted. And tonight I'm grabbing some chuck roast that I get in a double pack from Costco, and it's really affordable in a versatile cut, and you can make roast, you can use it for soups, you can make beef bulgogi, but tonight I'm just gonna make some stewed beef. And growing up in a Haitian household, stewed beef was probably on the rotation every single week, and we would have it with rice and stewed veggies, and we were a family of 6, so this really could stretch for our family. And my mom had a gift of literally making nothing and making it yummy, and when I tell you her food is delicious, it's chef's kiss. And I like to always try and channel her energy when I'm cooking. And she doesn't use any recipes. She's like those old school Haitian moms, and she just cooks from her soul, and I like to think that I can cook like that too. In a way, I like to make cooking from scratch really easy, especially when I'm in a pinch, is to use what I have in my home and just to really be creative. And some of the best dishes I've made literally have been when I've gone searching through my fridge and my pantry and just been creative with the simple ingredients that I have. Meals really do not have to be that complicated. If you have a meat, protein, a carb, and a veggie, you literally have a complete and balanced meal. Simple, clean, and easy. And I'm gonna pair my beef tonight with some white rice and broccoli, and that's it. Keep it really simple and easy. So right now you can see me putting the seasonings in. So I put some salt, garlic, pepper, onion pepper, paprika, and I'm about to put some Epis in there. So if you don't know what Epis is, it's Haitian Epis. It's a marinade that Haitian people will literally have on the base of anything that they make. I'm Haitian, so I put that thing on everything. I have a recipe on my blog on barefootbites.com, where you can find it, and I'll also put it in the description below. One of the biggest reasons why I started going back to cooking the majority of our meals was that we were spending so much money on buying out crappy food on top of the groceries we were already buying and not using. And honestly, we were just gaining so much weight, literally we were packing on the pounds, and it just wasn't healthy. And it's funny because I didn't grow up eating junk food at all. But I want to pause real quick and talk about the salt. This salt is my favorite. It's Redmond's real salt. I found out about this about a year and a half ago, and it's the only salt I use. If you're using iodized salt, you should look into that and see. It's really unhealthy. I'll put a link for the Redmond real salt below in the description, but it's so good. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, I didn't grow up eating junk food at all. My mom wasn't a stay-at-home mom, but she was an incredibly organized mom. She was organized so much about our meals, and she would cook all of our foods from scratch. She worked a lot, so she would batch cook a lot of our food at the beginning of the week, and every single night we honestly had a different nutritious home cooked meal on the table. And it really wasn't until I got to college and was eating the cafeteria food that I started eating all that junk and gaining weight. And just so much of those poor eating habits followed me for years and years and years. And really, for the past couple of years, I realized I wanted to make a change. And I just went down the rabbit hole of finding out what was in our food and reading labels. And y'all, I fell down that rabbit hole and tripped and just continued to tumble. And when you just start finding out about what's in your food, it's hard to ignore that. You just want to make better changes. And you know what? Now that I'm cooking and I know what's going into my food and in my family's belly, it's just a lot healthier and honestly tastes so much better. Yes, convenience food, it's fine. Like, I eat convenience food all the time, but it's not something that we should make a habit to be consuming all the time. So after marinating the meat in all the spices and the epis, what I'm going to do is sear all the beef chunks on all sides. That really seals in the flavor, since it is going to be like, it's a chuck roast, so it's going to be tough. If you do not sear the meat, it will be tough, and if you don't kind of let it cook or boil out, it really is going to be a really tough piece of meat to eat. So I'm making sure to sear all the pieces on all sides. So that's what you'll see me doing right now. I just want to make sure I seal in all that goodness, because it's going to be super tender after I cook it and stew it. So when I think about when time is really tight and I'm seeing that, it's approaching on almost dinner time, I try and really rely on some simple and tried and true recipes or intuitive cooking, or just straight challenging myself to cook whatever is in my fridge or pantry before I throw in the towel and just be like, you know what, I'm ordering in, or let's go get some junk food. Because again, I'm not a martyr. We do eat out or, order in food. I'm not going to just make up stories and say that I don't ever do that. I just cook all the time, and I don't. But I really try and challenge myself, whether it just be like going with a quick pasta dish with homemade sauce, or a stir fry with whatever veggies I have on hand, or even making fresh tortillas in under an hour and making some shrimp and just making a quick salsa to go with it. I will do that, and these meals that I can throw together come together so quickly, and they almost never taste like they were rushed. They taste like something I'd made for hours. And there's something so satisfying about creating a meal from scratch, especially when you're pressed for time. And that is what I want to impress on you guys today, and just really inspire you to just get back in your kitchen, just start cooking. And you don't need to know what you're doing. Sometimes it is okay to follow some bare bones recipes if you really don't know what you're doing, or you're just a beginner in the kitchen. But after that, after you follow a recipe, try and add something new to it. Throw in a spice that you don't always use. Taste the spice before you put it, so then you know what you want in a meal and what you're trying to achieve. So right now I'm going to add some liquid with water into the cast iron. You can add some beef stock or beef broth. I'm just going to add some water because I didn't have that on hand, and I'm just going to cover that and let it boil on medium heat, just until the meat gets really tender and just breaks, and until it just gets super delicious and tender. That's what you're trying to achieve. And right now I'm going to wash my rice. If you are not washing your rice when you are making rice, just make sure you wash your rice. You really want to make sure the water runs clear and you're getting all those starches off, and you don't know what they're putting in the rice. So you want to really make sure you're cleaning that. My mom always told me, make sure you wash your rice. And honestly, it comes out when you're finished, the finished product of the rice tastes so much better when it's washed and clean. So I just chopped up some garlic and onions, and I'm going to saute them. This is the base of my rice. Now, I told you guys that I'm Haitian. I grew up Haitian. Now, this is not how my mom would make rice. If she saw this, she would criticize me up the wazoo. But you know what? I'm in the business of cooking easy and making it easy for myself. I've taken what I've learned from my mom, and I'm just chopping it and making it easy for myself. So I'm just going to saute the onions and garlic quickly in some olive oil, and then the way I do it, and I just put the rice into the pot and just kind of season it with some garlic powder, onion powder, and just with the onions and garlic, and just really season that rice. And then I'll add water and boil. So I know some people can sometimes find making rice challenging. I find that if I do 1 cup of rice, then I would do 2 cups of water. So that's like the ratio. But for my family, we do about 2 cups of rice. As we get bigger and kids be eating a lot. But that's what I found. So right now I'm just seasoning it with some garlic powder, and then I'm going to add my water and salt your water. You always want to taste that water that you have for the rice, because what's the water tastes like is what the rice is going to taste like. So that's what I always do, is just to taste that water and make sure it has some salt and it's seasoned the way you want it to taste. Again, you always just want to taste as you go, and you season to your heart's liking. You know, some people may not like salt, some people may not like a certain type of flavor profile. You just have to do what's best for you, and that's what I do. So I was gabbing with my sister. This is usually our Bible study time, or if we're not doing Bible study, we're gabbing about our lives, our children, the world, and everything in between. And so I let the beef go on for a little bit too long, and so it's a little dark, but honestly it still tastes good and it's perfect. It's very tender, but it's just a little dark. But you're cooking, and you're gonna make mistakes, but it doesn't matter. You're just gonna keep pushing through, but it's still yummy, and we're still gonna enjoy it nonetheless. So right now I'm just checking up on the rice. It's still boiling and it's getting almost there. I let it cook completely until on like low heat until it's nice and fluffy and white, and that usually takes around like 20 to 25 minutes. One of the biggest barriers I used to have when I was starting to seriously cook every day was the dishes. Guys, I hate doing the dishes, and I hate seeing dishes in the sink. So there's my conundrum. I hate when there's dishes, and I hate there's dishes in the sink. But one of the things I started doing was running the dishwasher twice per day, just to keep up with my household. I know yours might be a little bit different, but we're a family of 5, and we eat almost all of our meals 3 times a day at home. My hubby also works from home. I used to work from home, but now I left my job back in May. So we generate a lot of dishes, and I found that if I keep up with the rhythm and routine of just doing them, it really isn't that bad, and it doesn't cause a barrier for me to cook. Because I used to be like, oh, there's no dishes for me to use, so I guess I can't cook. But I found that if I always bless my future self by just loading and running the dishwasher, I'll have clean utensils and dishes and pots available to use when I have to cook. The rice is ready and it smells amazing. It's garlicky, it's fragrant, and it's nice and fluffy and just perfect texture for my meal tonight. So I'm take a quick check on my garden and see how it's going. I got a green stalk for Mother's Day and I'm so excited to get a garden going. I want to show my kids where food comes from and to use the harvest that we have. I started this garden really late in the season on like June 1st, so don't judge me. I'm not really expecting a huge harvest, but this is my experimental trial run for next year, and I have a video up on my channel on how I set up my garden. And I also mentioned in that video how because we're doing this on our deck, we don't have access to water. So we used to have to snake our hose from the ground level from my garage all the way up to my deck just to water my garden. And one of the things my husband bought me was that sprayer. I'll link the link for the sprayer in the description below, but it's been a lifesaver. If you're doing this, you need to have one of those. It helps me keep my garden nice and lush. But I will link the video of me setting up my green stalk in the description below if you want to check it out as well. The last thing I was waiting on was broccoli. My husband really wanted that, so we didn't have it, so he went out and bought it, and I'm just gonna prepare that and just have that. Everything else is ready, just get that cooking. It does not take that much time, maybe a few minutes, and so my meal will be ready soon. So the last little gem I just want to impart on you is the next time you find yourself in a pinch, I want to encourage you to remember that cooking from scratch really doesn't have to be that complicated or time consuming. With a little bit of creativity and the right ingredients, you honestly can whip up something that's super easy and also nourishing and delicious. And that's the true joy of homemaking, finding comfort in the simplicity of a homemade meal no matter how busy life gets. I know I spent time telling you what I do when I'm in a pinch, but I'd love to hear what you do and how you make the most of what's in your pantry. What are your go-to meals when you need to get dinner on the table fast? Let's talk about the simple joys and practicality of scratch cooking when time is of the essence in the comments below. I'd love to create a community of where we just share with each other, share knowledge and wisdom. I want to thank you so much for coming along with me tonight and helping me make this meal for my family. If you're into cooking and homemaking, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.